Alright, let's keep this short and sweet. Made in Heaven is one of the most powerful stands in not only the JoJo Bizarre Adventure universe, but of course your Bizarre Adventure. That being said, it is arguably one of the most difficult stands to obtain and play as you try to control your blistering speed. Made in Heaven's speed, its greatest strength, can also be a setback if used improperly. Furthermore, you gotta deal with medium length-ish cooldowns and not amazing damage on most of your moves. With all that being said, I managed to reach number 4 on the 1v1's worldwide leaderboard in April this year, so I think I can say I've learned how to use Made in Heaven pretty well. That being said, here's my guide on how to play the Bringer of the End, Made in Heaven. This section of the video will cover a brief overview of the stand and its abilities. If you feel that you already know this, just skip to another section of the guide. Made in Heaven is the final evolution of Whitesnake. Whitesnake is obtained using a stand arrow, however as of this video it is the rarest rollable stand at a 1% chance. By finding a Dio diary and speaking to Poochie at the castle, the player can finish a quest to obtain a green baby and evolve Whitesnake into Seamoon. Once you have Seamoon, you may now begin the final step to achieving Heaven. Simply equip Seamoon and go speak to Poochie once more, who will give you the quest needed to evolve once again. For this quest, you'll need to defeat Heaven Ascended Dio until you obtain a Dio's Bone. Then you need to defeat Joe Part 6 until you obtain a Joe's Disc. Once you have that, go to the top of the mountain, bring out Seamoon, and witness your evolution. With Made in Heaven, your primary weapon is your speed. Made in Heaven's moves in general come out and execute incredibly quickly, and often involve a lot of movement due to the move. That being said, they can sometimes be hard to land or aim properly unless you know what you're doing. The first move, and well, one of the most important ones on this stand, is Double Excel. Double Excel increases your base movement speed by a significant amount, which is amazing by itself, but furthermore it turns all of your dashes into instant dashes, offering a small window of immunity and decreasing the cooldown on your dashes, allowing you to do it much more frequently. The cherry on the cake, however, with Double Excel, is that with the Triple Excel upgrade, Made in Heaven's basic attacks, those being Left Click, Heavy Punch and Barrage, all have a much faster hit speed. This particularly makes a difference with the Barrage, as you'll be hitting the opponent a lot more in a single Barrage, which makes up for a lower range damage power. The next move, and the one you'll probably be spamming the most, is Knives. With a few upgrades, you can get 3 knives and really short cooldowns, which make this move a premier damage dealer. These knives can be blocked and do not block break, however, they do a lot of damage if all 3 of them land. The small amount of stun that is caused when these knives land make them really useful for weaving into combos from other specs such as Spin. However, it sometimes may not be enough if your opponent is reactive enough to block immediately after they are hit by the knives. The next move to demonstrate is Infinite Speed. While using this move, you will quickly zoom behind the opponent and do a chop, causing damage with no other effects. This is a move similar to Star Platinum the World's Skull Crusher, however unlike Skull Crusher, it does not ragdoll. This move is somewhat useful, but it has one key weakness: it can be perfect blocked. While it is a very fast move, the better opponents you face will be able to react to it and punish you accordingly. As such, I believe the best instance to use this move is when the opponent themselves is using a move, as they won't be able to block due to the animation. If you test the waters a bit and find that your opponent is unable to react quickly enough to it consistently, then feel free to blaze up to them all you want. Speed Slice is, in my opinion, one of the most important moves in Made in Heaven's arsenal due to the fact that if it lands, it does a lot more damage than the other moves due to bleeding, and secondly, it always block breaks. This makes it a key component in a lot of Made in Heaven's combos, so it's important that you hit this one. While using Speed Slice, you will move incredibly quickly through a straight line where you were facing. This move is almost instant, so you can typically land it just by aiming at your opponent. Heaven's Judgment is another one of your main damage dealing moves. While using this move, the player will launch and zoom around the area in front of them in an area of effect attack before zooming once more a great distance forwards. An enemy should be in the centre of this attack while using it, or you may miss the final zoom, which will ragdoll and fling your opponent. And now, for what makes this stand one of the most fun stands to play, Time Acceleration. Time Acceleration, on activation, has several effects. First and most noticeably, time around you will accelerate, causing a pretty cool visual change as the sun and moon rise and set rapidly. during time acceleration, you will be able to move incredibly fast, to the point where if you know what you're doing, it can be nearly impossible to hit you. Upon activation, your cooldowns will also be completely reset, and any lasting cooldowns after time acceleration is activated will have shortened cooldowns. It should be noted that time acceleration traps all players caught in range of it inside a bubble, which is like invisible walls. Sorry Made in Heaven mains, but Uzu isn't going to let us speed all the way to the end of an SBR that easily. Another effect is that, while maximum upgraded, it shortens the duration of enemy time stops, which can be helpful but hard to time. The duration of time acceleration is dependent on how many times you wish to upgrade it. With one upgrade in particular, you unlock Made in Heaven's final ability, Universe Reset. Universe Reset is a passive addition to Made in Heaven's time acceleration ability, which will cause an awesome looking cutscene after time acceleration ends. Universe Reset will heal the user by a decent amount, similar to Bites the Dust, and will cause everyone's body to morph. Universe Reset has a separate cooldown to time acceleration, meaning you can fit in another time acceleration with no Universe Reset before Universe Reset is ready again. That about covers the moveset of this stand, and now onto the usage side of things. Keep in mind the following is just my personal opinion based on my combat experience. I could be wrong with some of this, for example a spec that I dislike at the moment could have some awesome hidden combo that I don't know about. That being said, the specs that I generally recommend for Made in Heaven are Spin and Hamon. You can get away with using Pluck, although I think that it leaves you too fragile. Boxing offers good defensive buffs, but it doesn't really offer too much that complements Made in Heaven's moveset, and the defensive buffs can easily be gotten with Hamon. Vampirism, I think, could work pretty well with Made in Heaven, particularly with the Freezing Punch, but at the moment Hamon is so meta that I don't think it's worth risking being matched against the Star Platinum, the World Hamon, and getting destroyed in one time stop. I personally use Hamon with Made in Heaven. I really like access to Scarlet Overdrive, which always block breaks, and if it lands, forces them to dash out to put the fire, which I can then punish because I know that they won't be able to dash away from a move. Hamon also, of course, offers great defensive buffs, but most importantly, it buffs the base damage of Made in Heaven's entire moveset to help make up for a somewhat lower base damage. Spin also works well in conjunction with knives. You'll be playing off the stun from the steel ball into multi-steel ball to weave into your combos, but however, for the rest of this guide, I'm going to be using Hamon, as that's the spec that I've had the best results with while using Made in Heaven. Made in Heaven does not necessarily have any true combos. Instead, it is more reliant on the user playing off of the current situation. By this I mean knowing what moves to use based on the current state of the opponent. Are they blocking all of your knives? Zoom up with Scarlet Overdrive and block break them. Do they keep parrying you? Just stop using infinite speed and use Speed Slice instead. Did you manage to block break them? Why not throw some knives and then use Heaven's Judgment? Did they barrage first, then barrage them back and force a block break or ragdoll with Scarlet Overdrive? Did that block break them again? Well, would you look at that, your knife cooldown is ready. You must be reactive to your situation and use your moves accordingly. That being said, there are some moves you must individually master. Time acceleration, while very powerful, can make it hard to land moves with. My only tip for this is to keep practicing with it and to keep your opponent centered in your screen. If you move your cursor or shift lock to keep them in the center of the screen, it should help when trying to land moves like Infinite Speed or Speed Slice in that kind of speed while using time acceleration. Alternatively, you can jump back and then run at them in a straight line to help you aim, but this may make you more predictable. As Made in Heaven, your biggest weaknesses are stands that can stop time. Of course, with time acceleration, you can shorten their time stop, but it can be really hard to time, as usually they will just wait for your time acceleration to end before stopping time. I think that Made in Heaven has the potential to do well against most stands except for a select few. The stands that I think you may have some trouble with are Star Platinum the World Over Heaven, King Crimson, and a really good Tusk Act 4. By this I mean whether they can actually hit their nail shots. You don't really have to worry about base Star Platinum and the World as much, as they generally have shorter time stops, and if you're good enough, you can kill them before they can even build maximum rage. All in all, Made in Heaven is one of my most favourite stands to play. I think he can be pretty bad in the hands of someone who doesn't know what they're doing, but you can say that about most stands. I think that in the right hands, he can be really good, and he's just generally really fun to play. Thank you for watching. This is my first video on this channel, so I wanted to do a more basic beginner's guide kind of introduction video. I'll probably make a more advanced guide in the near future if enough people will ask for it. I'll also do my best to answer any questions in the comment section, so if you've got anything you want to ask, drop it down below. If you like what you've watched today and want to see more, please subscribe so I know it's something that people would like. I also stream on Twitch, link below and probably on screen, so if you want to know when I go live so you can hang out and chat, drop a follow. That's all from me. I hope to see you all on the leaderboard, and I hope you can all master Made in Heaven.